Good morning, guys. Welcome back. Man, look, today is special. All right, look, today I'm gonna begin start moving forward because for a minute now I've been talking about science. I've been talking about this, that, and the other. And look, if I've lost you already, then I don't have you anymore, anyways. If what I'm saying hasn't at some point or somehow sunk into you yet, then you need to do some more research and digging on your own and verify some things independently. Okay, but for those of you who are interested, that want to move forward and want to learn, I'm not going to sit here and labor the points that I've already made. Okay, we're going to move forward because what I want you to understand is that a lot of things were happening while we were sleeping, bro. I say we because I slept on this too. What I'm going to show you today, I'm going to show you one of the most treasured things that I've discovered in my search for truth, and it's something that the entire world slept on but one man. The whole world, as far as I can tell, like about a year ago was the last time I really tried to dig to find if there was anybody else who actually had talked about this event or events, plural, that I'm about to show you that the whole world slept on. The whole world slept on this. Yeah, I don't understand why this wasn't the greatest, biggest news ever, especially within the church. I call out the entire community of the church, all the writers, authors, publishers, everybody, all of you, you all slept. You all slept. Okay? The only man that did not sleep on this is a guy, and I want to give him credit where it is due. His name is Alexander Lawrence. You can look for him on YouTube as Watchman Alexander. He wrote a fantastic book called Leviathan's Ruse. And if you're interested in really beginning to understand the way that evil and the way that your enemy is structured in the world today, I recommend that you get a copy of Leviathan's Ruse and read it. It'll really come in handy. But what we're going to be talking about here, like I've told you guys before, look, what we study in here is biblical cosmology, but truth in general. Okay? But what I want you to understand is that as we begin to study biblical cosmology, we're going to answer a few questions, one of them being, when are we? Okay, right? So we talked about where are we with the UN flag and all that stuff. Now we need to talk about when are we, right? Because when you wake up in the morning, what's one of the first things you do is you want to know, well, what time is it, right? Okay, so now that you're waking up into the real world, your first one of them questions is going to be, well, when are we? Okay, we're going to answer that question as well. And the way we're going to do that is through Scripture. Okay? As we learn biblical cosmology, this is going to bleed into the calendar study. We're gonna study the calendar. I'm going to show you guys how simple this is. They've made it so complicated, and it's not. I'm going to show you how a child can do this if explained properly. Well, there's just so much unclear instruction regarding the calendar that people just don't really understand how to do it anymore. But it's not that complicated, and I'm going to show you guys how to do it. And the purpose of what all of this will lead to is an understanding of the Moedim, which are appointed times. The Moedim are first mentioned in the first chapter of Scripture. At creation, we're told on the fourth day that Yahweh made the sun, moon, and the stars. And he said that they were to be for signs and for appointed times. That word appointed times is translated seasons in your KJV, which is a horrible translation. The word is Moedim in Hebrew, which means literally appointed times. So what Scripture tells us is that the sun, moon, and stars were created by God on the fourth day for the purpose of marking signs, times, and Moedim. Okay? And as you begin to understand the Moedim and their meanings, your New Testament will open up to you in a way that you never imagined. Paul's writings will begin to make so much more sense in the light of understanding the Moedim. So what I want to get right to right now is I want to show you what the entire world slept on. This is one of the greatest discoveries that I've been able to, or that I've come across. Like I said, Alexander Lawrence, the graphic I'm about to show you, he did this. Okay, he titled it "Fearful Symmetry." Okay, and what I want you to understand is this is what actually happened. You can get on NASA's website. Let me dim this a little bit, see if that's not a little bit better. Perhaps. You can get on NASA's website and verify all of this. Okay, let's see if it's clear enough. But let me just describe for you what this graphic demonstrates. What this graphic shows is that we have a midpoint of January 15th, 2015. Okay, so if you take the date of January 5th, 2015, and you go forward 1,462 days or backwards 1,462 days, and you will find a partial solar eclipse. With that same midpoint, you can do the same thing with 1,314 days in both directions, the same with 1,284 in both directions, the same with 1137 in both directions, the same with 265 in both directions. You will find now the blood moons. Now, you guys remember hearing about the blood moons. I'm sure y'all read books or seen the deal, this, that, and the other, but everybody slept on this. Nobody got this. Okay, and what we found was that in the years 2014, 2015, the blood moons fell on the Moedim. Fell on Passover twice and Tabernacles twice. Fell on Pesach twice and Sukkot twice. Now, this is an amazing occurrence already. Okay, this right here has never happened before and will never happen again according to our astronomical calculations at NASA. Okay, which you can verify all of this. I want to show you just how much more detailed this was, because this was a true miracle. This was something that God did while we were sleeping. Part 2 shows you that the graphic is actually a little more intense. Okay, what it is, with that same midpoint of January 15th or January 5th, 2015, okay, not only do we have the 4 blood moons split symmetrically by days, but moving forward, this actually covered a 7-year span of 4 partial solar eclipses, perfectly symmetrically lined with 3 blood moons, and we get the exact opposite 7 years later. This started June 15th, 2011, and this concluded July 27th, 2018, while we were sleeping. And what this means, guys, let me tell you what this means. What this means is that God gave us back our calendar. Okay? Because this has never happened before in history, and this will never happen again in history. This was a sign. This was to mark the Moedim. This is why God made the sun, moon, and stars on the 4th day. We're told in the Proverbs, we're told in, was it Proverbs 25:2? What is it? That it's the glory of Elohim. It's the glory of God to conceal a matter, but it's the glory of a king to search it out. Okay? We're told in, what is it, 18, Proverbs 18? I want to say verse 13. You know, the one who draws a conclusion on a matter, the one who forms an opinion on a matter before he searches it out, it's to his shame and folly. The whole world slept on this, guys. The whole world. I don't understand why this wasn't the biggest news that anybody had ever heard. But as far as I know, only one man, Alexander Lawrence, documented this occurrence, that God actually gave us back the true understanding of our calendar. Now, that's just a little bit of an introduction. Like I said, I'm going to try and keep these things short. I don't want to, make hour-long type stuff that you guys can't even finish. Just saying.